The head of the European Commission has warned President Trump to back off from encouraging EU countries to break away. Jean-Claude Juncker says he'll promote independence for US states unless Trump stops.
The newly elected US president was happy that Brexit was taking place and has asked other countries to do the same. If he goes on like this, I'm going to promote the independence of Ohio and Texas in America.
Well, Jean-Claude Juncker is the European Commission president. He's never claimed and certainly would never get the job as the EU's chief diplomat. He's often known to like a joke. Those jokes sometimes a little close to the knuckle. If we cast our minds back not too far, he was joking around that the nickname he had for Hungary's Prime Minister Viktor Orban was the dictator. However, this time around, the joke came in a more deadpan fashion from Jean-Claude Juncker. It also came amidst a speech during the party conference of the European People's Party. That's the centre-right group within the European Parliament, in which he railed against those that had criticised the EU Commission. He railed against populism. He railed against the likes of people that had brought about Brexit. And it's Brexit that really brings us to this. And it comes, these comments about the states of Ohio and Texas, after the White House claimed that Donald Trump had been one of the driving forces behind the UK's exit from the European Union.
I think the president is very well steeped in world affairs, especially Europe, NATO, all the issues. He was a leader in the effort to call Brexit, as you know. I mean, and obviously with respect to that, we respect the will of the British electorate. Well, that's not gone down well at all with Jean-Claude Juncker, as well as with others in Brussels. But in all fairness, you can't really take his words at face value, and it's highly unlikely we're going to see a Hexit or a Texit does sound a lot better coming up in the near future.
All right, let's get reaction from Jack Montgomery. He's from the Leave EU Scotland campaign. Jack, welcome to RT International. Thanks for coming on the programme. I know Jean-Claude Juncker often says these things with a wink, doesn't he? But why do you think it may have rankled with him so much about linking Trump with Brexit?
I think it's a bit of a mistake to characterise Jean-Claude Juncker as a joker. He's a serious man. He's been a part of the European integration movement for a long, long time. He's a true believer in a sort of federal United States of Europe, and he's very unhappy when people like Donald Trump say maybe it's time for nations who are not happy with the direction the EU is taking to go their own way. He's very unhappy with the Prime Minister of Hungary, Viktor Orban, when he says that maybe they need to take a different direction on issues like open borders. And I think it really shows, this is a man who's on his way out. You know, he said that he's not going to stand for another term as European Commission President. Brexit sort of finished him, along with the migrant crisis. And he's not happy, he's very bitter, and he's making these very unstatesmanlike comments, saying that, you know, because Trump endorsed Brexit, he's going to start endorsing states breaking away from the United States of America. The United States of America and the European Union are very different things, for one thing, and for another, this is not diplomatic. This is not a diplomatic way to treat the sort of head of state of still the world's greatest superpower when you are trying to sell yourself as the president of a rival to that superpower. So with that in mind then, is there much influence, do you think, if whatever Donald Trump says, and let's face it, he says a lot, if anybody who looks at Twitter will find out, or Sean Spicer, his spokesman at the White House, do what they say matter? Does it resonate in Europe, do you think, or is the influence that limited? I think it absolutely matters. It absolutely resonates what Donald Trump is saying. Donald Trump is saying things that haven't really been said on the international stage, certainly not by great powers, for a long time. And the European Union officials in Brussels are in absolute panic about it. They wrote of it, Ted Malloch, Professor Ted Malloch, who is widely tipped as Trump's pick as representative to the European Union, has likened it to the Soviet Union, said it needs a little taming. He suggested that Mr. Juncker go back to being an adequate mayor of Luxembourg. And they hate that. These people take themselves very seriously. They spend a lot of money on motorcades, on these grand presidential buildings in Brussels. They're about to introduce a new private army, which the UK is going to have to put foot at least part of the bill for. They take themselves very seriously, and to be having people in America not taking them seriously, hurts them, and they've pushed back against that hard. You know, they've signed a letter trying to stop Malik from becoming the representative. They've said that they're going to take on Trump on the world stage. It absolutely resonates, I think.
Good to get your thoughts on that, Jack. Thanks very much. Jack Montgomery from Leave EU Scotland. Thanks for joining us from Edinburgh tonight.